Yes, you guys, welcome back. I'm EFC. This is Blue Line CV, and today I'm here to bring you guys another news daily video. Now, for today's video, I'm going to focus on 3 stories. They are going to be on Timo Werner's arrival in London. You heard that right, you guys, it really is Timo time right now. And to end with the other 2 stories, we speak about some potential transfer targets. That is Dennis Zakaria and Mark Cucurella. Exciting story surrounding both these players, you guys. So hear it out. I'm going to break down the profile of these players and the news too. But before I start with today's first story, today's video is brought to you by the One Football app. Now, as I'm constantly stressing every single time, the app really is the perfect companion app, and the app's become even better due to the new visual redesign and revamp that One Football have done. Now, right now, it's even easier to get the information that you want. It's not just some unnecessary filler, it's not some unnecessary designs just to make things look new for the sake of it. There has been some careful consideration to make the user experience easier, more concise, and clearer for you guys. As I'm constantly stressing, the One Football app is a companion app to have. It's a great hub to get all the latest news surrounding this club from news outlets across Europe straight to your phones. What you guys are waiting for? It's a great time to try it out right now. You'll find a link below in the description below. And of course, before I start with the first story, you guys, do remember that the match review is coming straight after this video. I need at least an hour to get things ready, so I'll see you guys very soon. Keep it recorded. And without wasting no more time, we start with the first story, and it's time to speak about Timo Werner. Now, once you guys see this video, our game against Wolves is going to be over. So let's hope that today was a great performance. Let's hope that we've secured our UCL fate and have secured our place in next year's competition. And hopefully, Werner arriving today is that good luck charm that this club needed to hopefully progress. Now, right now, Werner, he's been enjoying his holiday since RB Leipzig season has ended, and it seems like he's fully ready to start his pre-season training at this club right now. Now, by the time this video is released, we're going to learn whether we have secured a UCL spot next season by getting a positive result against Wolves today. So let's hope that Werner arriving in London today is that good luck charm we need to hopefully progress and enter into next year's competition. Currently, Werner has been enjoying his holiday since the season has ended at RB Leipzig. He's deserved it, you guys. It's been a long season, a tiring season. Right now, Werner's finished his holidays and he's fully ready and prepared to start his rigorous pre-season training at this club right now. Werner's going to soon link up with his new teammates, and credit to him, he made a big sacrifice deciding not to continue the UCL campaign at RB Leipzig, instead deciding to leave early to join with this club. I don't think that's something Havertz is going to do, but credit to Werner for doing that because it tells you how focused he is already to start his pre-season work and obviously to get familiar with his new environment and his teammates too. Honestly, you guys, I cannot wait until pre-season starts. I can't wait to see Ziyech and Werner playing an actual game for us. It's going to feel absolutely surreal, and you guys can see I can't get this smile off my face. So yeah, Werner, I mean, he's our player, and we're going to see him very soon, you guys. So for the second story, we now move on to a very interesting and exciting talent coming out from the Bundesliga. His name is Dennis Zakaria, and the reason why this news is interesting is that recently, Alex Goldberg, and I'm sure that's the name you guys are familiar with, he's been on this channel so many times, we've had so many great football discussions. He has an excellent podcast called The Byline. This podcast is getting bigger, better, and more ambitious literally every single month. Recently, he's had an interview with Jesse Marsch, the manager of RB Salzburg. Absolutely unreal, absolutely mad, so much insight. And recently, he had an interview with Christian Falk, Mr. Bayern Munich news himself. So I'm telling you, when it comes to credible journalists, guests, footballers, celebs, the Byline podcast really is the place to be at, you guys. I've been sub for over a year. I'm happy with it. I'm telling you that straight. But getting on to Falk's reports, he said that us, Man United and Man City, are currently looking at Zakaria from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Now, it seems like our love affair for Bundesliga players is not going to be ending anytime soon. But to end with what Falk was saying in that podcast interview, he stated that right now it's looking a bit unrealistic as Zakaria could leave in this window currently. There is big interest in him, he does have massive potential, and however, if a possible bid between 50 to 60 million euros was met to meet the player's valuation, then of course, Borussia Mönchengladbach would naturally enter into negotiations with whatever club placed that bid. So, with Zakaria, there's definitely some long-term planning and thinking behind his potential signing. One of the main reasons too that's maybe garner some caution behind signing him right now is that he hasn't played too many games at the highest level. Now, for big clubs like us, we prefer if players have played in European football. This is a high-level competition where you can really test your strengths, your abilities, and showcase just how good you are. So with Borussia Mönchengladbach, of course, they've secured their place for the UCL for next season, so this will provide some context and insight behind Zakaria and whether he's good enough to play at a higher level. Now, you might be thinking, Nini, why exactly are we looking at Zakaria? It seems like every single week we're looking at new players. I thought it was Declan Rice. What's happening there? Why is Zakaria such an important player? Now, I'm going to let you guys know exactly why. Zakaria has had a massive reputation in the Bundesliga. Some argue, and a lot of people believe, that he is the best defensive player in the league. He's made a name for himself playing as a CDM ever since he signed for BMG from Young Boys. Of course, back during his playing days in Switzerland, he had a massive reputation. He made his debut for the Swiss international team at 18 years old, and once he did that, it was no surprise that BMG signed him. Now, that's some of the accomplishments that he's achieved so far, but to get more insight behind the player's game, his attributes, and what makes him so special in the first place, Zakaria has that rare ability of having the physicality to match with speed. Now, I say this because it is quite rare. A lot of times when we see fast players, we automatically assume they're strong, or when we see strong players, we automatically assume they have pace. To have both at a high level, playing that type of role, but to also have that technical excellence on top that is good enough for a top 4 level makes you a pretty impressive player. Zakaria's recoveries, tackles, interceptions, I mean, they're looking like they're pretty elite if I'm being completely honest, you guys. But what really separates him from just your standard CDM is his use of the ball, his thinking as well. To start with his use of the ball, he's very happy receiving between the lines. He's very important to help progress the ball. He's constantly an outlet for defenders and fullbacks every single time. And that attribute tells you that he's very composed and very good in the build-up phase too. Zakaria is someone that can play as a lone CDM and can play in the pivot too, and on top of these 2 positions, he can also play as a centre-back. So in that sense, he fills every possible tactical need if you were to use a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, or even a back 3 system. And of course, he has great press resistance, and he's very comfortable breaking the lines, carrying the ball forward and playing those positive passes between the lines because he has a very good passing range. It's no surprise that so many big clubs are starting to look at him, and it's no surprise why we would look at him as well, because with the formation and the tactics we're now starting to move towards, we really need a CDM. We need a defensive player that can ground but also has that technical excellence on top to really complement this team. And considering the valuation that West Ham are currently placing on Rice, it's no surprise that we're going to naturally look at other targets and see who else is available. In the case of Zakaria, when you consider our previous history with Borussia for multiple seasons, could there be some business there? Could we possibly offer some other young players on loan on a similar long-term loan basis? Or could our relationship with the club give us a better negotiation fee to buy the player for? There's so many possibilities, but I really like the profile of player we're looking at. As I've been stressing a lot, for us to go forward, we need to have 2 CDMs. And in Zakaria's case, not only is he one of the most promising CDMs in world football, this guy is also potentially good enough to be a long-term successor to N'Golo Kante. And to end things with the final story, we take things to AS, where they report that we are now turning our attentions to Marc Cucurella from Getafe. Now, it states that his valuation is currently set at 30 million euros, and one of the reasons why we are now turning our attention to him is that the club and Lampard are starting to accept and admit defeat that they can't sign Ben Chilwell due to the ridiculous valuation that Leicester City want. So, to be honest with you guys, that isn't really news. I've been saying for a very long time on this channel that the club aren't too inspired behind signing Ben because of the price that Leicester City are placing on his head. As I'm stressing too, there are so many better candidates, and I guess now the question is Cucurella one that is good enough to be the replacement for Ben and is good enough to upgrade our left-hand side in this team? I think that's a bit subjective, but I think from a financial point of view, maybe Cucurella does make some sense. Now, when Getafe did originally sign him, they agreed a loan deal first, and at the end of that loan deal, they'd agreed to pay 6 million euros, with Barcelona entitled to receive up to 40% of that future transfer fee. However, since then, they have negotiated a new fee, and Getafe have paid 10 million, bringing down Barcelona's original 40% fee down to 10%. So in that sense, a Tafe could probably have more room to negotiate to bring the fee down. And maybe this is one of the reasons why we are turning our attention to Mark, because he is another player that fits in this same bracket of costing less than 30 million euros. Now, as a football player, his profile is decent. You know, he does have some attributes that would naturally complement how we're playing. He's a very proactive style defender, which is one positive. He's someone that has very good timing of his late arrivals inside the final third, which is very good for a team like us that likes to create those overloads down the flanks. And on top of that, he is very fast and very positive with his use of the ball. Does this mean that he's an amazing left back? You know, he's a good player in his own right. And if the club are really interested in signing him, then I would have to give him that benefit of the doubt, because right now, as I'm stressing, we're a club that have that environment where we can take a player's game and take him to that next level. And with how we play too, tactically, he would complement what Lampard wants. My thing is though, is Mark necessarily that number one guy you're going to turn to over your Bens, your Tagliafico's, your Tellises? I do not think so whatsoever, you guys. And one possibility I've been mentioning quite a bit, if we were to sell Emerson and Alonso in the same window, we're going to have to buy two fullbacks. Now, Maatsen is a great young talent. He isn't ready just yet to play as a backup for the entire season. He might need a loan move, so that's going to be interesting to see there. But for me, Mark just isn't that guy you turn to over such great players and talents such as this. I possibly think that he would be seen as a backup left back, because if we sold both Emerson and Alonso, we'd have to sign two fullbacks, you guys. So in that sense, as a backup squad rotation role, he comes for an affordable fee. If we consider that we could get up to 30 million for both Alonso and Emerson, that's 60 mil, and we could use that same 60 mil to sign two better fullbacks for this team. So in that sense, you know, I could get behind it if this happens, but personally, I don't think that Mark is the guy we are going to sign. I don't think that he's seen as a number one priority or target. I think it's more realistic that he could be seen as a backup option to sign with the squads. But anyway, you guys, at that point, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hopefully after this video, it means that we've got the win. If we have one, smash the hell out of this video. I want to get over 3,000 likes. Anyway, I'm going to wrap things up, you guys. Thank you for watching. I'm Mimi FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. And of course, before I start with the first story, you guys, do remember that the match review is coming straight after this video. I need at least an hour to get things ready, so I'll see you guys very soon. Keep it recorded. And without wasting no more time, we start with the first story, and it's time to speak about Timo Werner.